All right, let's get into a story that is just incredible. It's all about faith, guts, and staring down impossible odds. We're talking about a guy who went up against a hostile government and even got skepticism from his own church. His name was Arnold Janssen, and his whole journey kind of kicks off with a bishop calling him either a fool or a saint. So be honest with me. Have you ever heard that name before? If you're shaking your head, don't worry, you are not alone. He might just be one of the most important people you've never heard of.
And that's exactly why this story is so compelling. We're talking about a story of absolute conviction. One man's vision in a time of persecution and doubt that, against all odds, started a movement that went global. So the big question is, how on earth did he pull it off?
To really appreciate what he accomplished, we first have to get to know the man himself. So who was Arnold Janssen?
Okay, so Arnold Janssen was born in Germany way back in 1837, and he wasn't just a priest. Get this, he was a teacher, specifically of math and science. And eventually, he became the founder of not just one, but 3 different missionary congregations that are still carrying on his work today.
Let's just trace his path for a minute. He came from a big, very devout family. He gets ordained, and for more than 10 years, he's a respected high school teacher. I mean, he has a stable, successful career path laid out in front of him. But then, in 1873, he resigns. He just walks away from it all. Why? Because he felt this deep calling to do something bigger, to serve people way beyond his own country. He had a vision for the whole world.
But you know how it is. Having a vision is one thing. Making it happen is a whole different ballgame. And for Arnold, it seemed like the entire world was conspiring to stop him. Now here's where the story gets really wild. The main thing standing in his way was something called the Kulturkampf. Basically, the German government, led by Otto von Bismarck, was actively trying to crush the Catholic Church. They were passing laws to forbid religious schools, expel priests, and imprison bishops. It was literally the worst possible time to even think about starting a new Catholic project in Germany. And the pushback wasn't just political. This quote from a German archbishop just says it all. The very leaders of his own church thought he was completely delusional. You can just hear the disbelief in that statement, right? It's almost like they're making fun of him. This all leads to the pivotal moment. Arnold's got no money, he's got no official backing, and he goes to a bishop to lay out his grand plan. And the reaction he got? Well, it became legendary. This is it. This is the quote that defines the whole struggle. The Bishop of Roermond looks at this priest who has nothing but a dream and says, there are only 2 possibilities here. No middle ground. He's either a complete fool who's going to fail spectacularly, or he's a saint being guided by God.
And Arnold's response to that? It's just incredible. He doesn't get defensive. He completely reframes the situation. He basically says, all this chaos isn't a reason to stop. It's a sign from God that this is the exact right time to build something new. I mean, can you imagine that kind of faith? So, faced with that stark choice, fool or saint, Arnold acted. He set out to prove everyone wrong. And this whole massive worldwide mission, it all started in a tiny little Dutch town called Stale. Since he couldn't do anything in Germany, he just packed up and crossed the border into Holland. Simple as that. He found an old, rundown inn in Style and made it his headquarters. In 1875, he officially founded his mission house. He knew he needed to get the word out, so he started a printing press right there. And get this. Less than 4 years later, his first 2 missionaries were already on a boat to China. From a foolish idea to a global mission in almost no time at all. It's just astonishing. He called his new order the Society of the Divine Word, or SVD for short. And this name, it tells you everything you need to know about his faith. It came directly from a prayer his family used to say every single night when he was a kid. His life's work was literally rooted in his earliest memories of his faith. So that foolish idea, the one born in the middle of a political firestorm and started in a tiny Dutch inn, well, it didn't just survive. It absolutely exploded. And Arnold didn't stop with just one order for priests and brothers. He recognized that women had a huge role to play, so he founded the Missionary Sisters in 1889. Then, a few years later, he established a cloistered group of sisters whose entire job was to pray for the missions, 24/7. He literally built an entire ecosystem to support his global vision. And what's the result of that vision today? Well, that first group he founded has grown to over 6,000 Divine Word missionaries.
That's a direct line from one man with zero money to thousands of people carrying his mission forward.
And their reach? It's just as amazing. From that one little inn in Holland, their work has now spread to more than 80 countries all around the world. It just goes to show you, the smallest, most unlikely beginning can have a truly global impact. This chart really puts it all into perspective. When you add up all 3 of the congregations he founded, we're talking about more than 10,000 people today. Priests, brothers, and sisters, all part of the legacy of the man a bishop once called a fool. So, what was the engine behind all this? What kept him going? This quote from St. Arnold himself really sums it up. For him, this was never about building some kind of empire. It was about love. He genuinely believed the single most loving thing you could do for another person was to share the message that was at the very core of his faith. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Arnold Janssen looked at a world that seemed to be falling apart and saw a chance to build something new. He heard people say it's impossible, and he took that as a personal challenge. It really makes you wonder, what are the impossible tasks of our own time, just waiting for someone with enough faith to be called either a fool or a saint?